Hey, welcome to Cody the Car Guy. So we've got a 2008 Tundra here and the alternator has gone bad. So they're pretty much at the very bottom underneath your power steering pump right there, the smaller pulley, literally right there. That's your alternator. So first thing you want to do is jack up the truck a little bit. Take a 14 millimeter, your tensioner is right there, so all you're going to do is remove the serpentine belt, and then we're going to remove the actual shield down below. Once the shield's removed, it actually gives you pretty good access to the alternator. You have a nut right there you have to remove. That has to come out so you can actually slide the alternator forward. Now I will say, before we jump under there, we're going to go ahead and remove the belt. Just simply put a 14 millimeter on there, push up, and there you go. That is removed. That actually will make it a little bit easier too for getting to the nut on the upper alternator bolt. So this is out of the way. Now the shield was actually pretty easy. You have 3 10 millimeters right here, which comes to the bottom of the bumper cover. So then you got a few 12s under there that actually holds the shield in, and then there's a little hook up here. You have to lift it and slide it to the driver's side. And then once the shield's removed, let me show you the alternator. Now once the shield's removed, it gives you access to this bolt right here and this nut up here. So once those two are removed out of here, we can go ahead and get this thing off. We're going to go and remove the power wire off of it and get these undone and drop it down. Alright, pretty much right here on this, all you're going to do is come on the back side of this little clip on there. All you do is pull it out, slide it off this bracket right here. Then you have a 10 millimeter bolt up top right here. Alright, I have a swivel head ratchet. We'll just go ahead and loosen the main wire up here. Pretty much the alternator is loose at this point. Got a 12 millimeter bolt up there, and you have two 14s. So now that that is out, we're going to pull this off, and we have a plug back here. Now the fun part comes in when you get to right about right here, and you realize your alternator won't make it past your power steering pump. Once that's out like that, we're going to come back around here where the plug is, push it in. Alright, we're going to go ahead and just remove this bolt right here. I think it's going to make it a lot easier. We're just going to come straight up. Other times we've actually removed the lower radiator hose right here, which comes from the housing right here. And it's actually made it pretty much, you can get it through that way. But let's try it this way. It's a different way. We'll just come up. And it looks like you got plenty of room to slide it through. A little bit more past the radiator line. And of course I'm going to grab the belt. This hose out of the way. Yes. Hose out of the way, and looks like we have an alternator coming out. Yes, I would love to have a conversation with the engineer that designed this one, let me tell you. Now we're pretty much up to here, and we haven't had to take anything major out. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and loosen this guy up right here. And we should be able to slide that back and give us just enough room to get out. Now, pretty much what you take off the intake boot up here, you can literally lift the alternator straight out. Take off the little cover up here. So take off the cover up here. You got two 10 millimeters right here. Once you pull this guy out, you have 10 right here. You have a 10 right there. Once you remove that little cover, it gives you access to the other hose clamp. Go ahead and pull that right there off, and it gives you the access you need. So literally you remove a few extra things and it comes out pretty easily through the top. It's just a pain in the butt because you have to remove a lot of stuff just to get it out. So let's go ahead and get the new one in and get this thing wrapped up. Now I will say it makes it a lot easier if you have a buddy helping you out, but if you're doing it by yourself, you're going to have to literally put this down first. We go past everything again. Radiator hose, this hose right here, all the same fun stuff you had to come out with. Now you got to get back past. And at that point, you have to get it underneath the power steering pump again. So once you get it past the power steering pump, you're going to pull the power steering pump back up and get that out of the way. Then you're going to put the alternator on. Once you get that down like that. Now using a bungee cord, I went ahead and grabbed the power steering pump since I'm here by myself doing this. And literally it makes it so much easier. It just holds it up. You're able to slide the alternator back on. It has two studs that are up there. You have one bolt on the bottom. It's pretty much where it's supposed to be at this point. So we'll go ahead and start putting the power steering pump back on. We'll get the bottom bolt in on the alternator so that way we can start bolting this thing back in. But literally, this is what makes it so much easier. If you're by yourself, you got to do it. Just use a bungee cord, hold it up. Like I said, doing it this way, you don't have to remove the radiator hose. You don't have to unbolt the actual power steering pump and pull it out. It didn't lose any fluid, so I just did it this way. Now, I always go ahead and put the bottom bolt back in on the alternator just to make sure all of my bolts line up perfectly before I do anything. So this is the clip right here for your power wire. So we're going to go ahead and get that back on real quick. We'll jump back up here and go ahead and tighten up, get the bolts through for the power steering pump so we can start wrapping this thing back up. Alright, pretty much at that point you can go ahead and remove your bungee holder. And we can go ahead and start putting the power steering pump back where she's supposed to be. Go ahead and get the top bolt back in. Tighten your inverted bolt back up. Pretty much at that point, just gonna slide this up, pull the alternator back just here, put it back on. Alright. Got a bolt in the bottom, you got a bolt right here on the side. Go ahead and get it in there. It's hard to get the camera in there to show you guys, so just bear with me and I'll show you here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my plug so it's not forgotten. That's done. Alright, pretty much at this point, we're gonna go ahead and tighten the alternator bolts up. I got this one down here, snugged up. We've got one up top right here. Go ahead and get this one while we're here. Then we'll go ahead and tighten up the power steering bolts. After this, we'll have two up top. So we'll go ahead and put the intake tube back on. And then we'll be done. I already did the plug on the alternator and I already tightened up the power cable. Alright, everything is tight down below. Let me show you everything else hooked up on the other side. Now as you see, I went ahead and got this back on. There's the little bracket right there. Power cord, the power cable is already bolted up and the plug is already in the back. So now that's all done, let's get up top and wrap it up. Alright, pretty much we got this last bolt up top. Then we can go ahead and start getting the serpentine belt about ready to go on. We're going to do the serpentine belt first before we go ahead and get the boot on. So at that point it's all back on. So all we got to do is put this upper piece right here back on. Put your little cover back on and fire it up. So let's go ahead and get that wrapped up. We still got to put the shield on down below, but other than that, we're almost done. We got a little hose back here. And tighten this up before you put the other piece back on. Put this back on right here. Put the two 10mm back. So pretty much at that point, that's changing out your alternator on your Tundra. So I hope that helps you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one with 59 videos. Out. Now, last but not least, we'll go ahead and hook the battery back up. And you want to go ahead, if you had a really dead system, you want to go ahead and charge your battery before you just put the alternator under a serious load. Technically, the alternator is not made to charge, it's technically made to maintain. So putting under it a heavy load to have to do all that work, you know, you can actually make an alternator go out faster. So if you have a fully dead battery, go ahead and charge it real quick. So let's go ahead and check out what the voltage is right now. And we're going to go ahead, we'll start it up, make sure it's working. So we're at 1193 on the voltage. I'll show you. That way, if you know, you want to go ahead and make sure one fuse or something else that had gone bad. So we're at 1193 on the voltage. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and make sure everything's charging like it's supposed to. At that point, we're at 1357, so she's charging and maintaining like it's supposed to. Everything is doing exactly like you should. That's what you want to see. At that point, you're completely done with your alternator change. So always good just to go ahead and double check and make sure, especially if you're going on a trip. This one was broke down in between states, so they came in and just want to make sure they're back up and going before they get back on the highway. So now we know this one's doing what it's supposed to. So we can go ahead and call the customer and let them pick up the truck, and away they go.